Well, it has been a long and grueling day here on the B stream, ladies and gentlemen, but it does look like we are finally back after about an hour delay there since we were catching up to the mainstream. And, well, Metas, it seems like, we got the better match out of the two that actually, means something here with regards to the actual tournament outcome. We've got the big one. It's FaZe versus Astralis. And this is going to potentially decide if FaZe tops the group or if we have a potential tie between, these two teams in themselves. If Astralis wins this one, then I think the teams end up in a tied record that has to be settled to see who takes first place and who gets the easy ticket through to the semis.
Yeah, so if Astralis win this, they'll be 4-1 alongside FaZe. At the same time, obviously, on the A stream, we've got Immortals and Fnatic playing each other. If Fnatic win that game, they'll be 3-2, tied with Immortals, and depending on how this games, they could be potentially tied with Astralis too. So there's quite a different amount of variables and variations depending on the results. FaZe, though, of course, will be eyeing up the 5-0. They did it at Oakland as well, breezing through the group. They'll want to rinse and repeat that just to secure that top spot and go straight through to the semi-finals. Of course, the first place in the group goes to the semis instantly, and then places 2 and 3 go through to the quarterfinals. So still a lot to play for in this game. And yeah, I'm kind of surprised we're actually casting this one. Very happy to, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I have all the scenarios listed down right now. I probably am going to get something wrong here, but just bear with me. So basically, FaZe wins, they win the group. There's no way that can change. But based on the result of the other game, we do have a potential 3-way tie for second and third place if Fnatic wins the other one, as that would put Astralis, Fnatic, and Immortals all in contention for the second and third place slots to move forward, into the quarters. On the other side of the coin, as we said before, if Astralis wins, then we have a tie between them and Astralis, which needs to be settled for first and second place. And potentially Immortals as well would be in that tie as well if they win their game. On the flip side of the Immortals game, if Fnatic wins it and Astralis still wins, then we still have a tie between just FaZe and Astralis, and then we also have another tie for third place between Immortals and Fnatic. Again, so basically the two games that are being played could just lead into a tiebreaker scenario where both of those two matches needs to be played out in its tiebreaker scenario, as they would just be deadlocked on the scores. So a lot of ifs, a lot to be figured out. I imagine everybody's very confused right now, but all be figured out in time, people. So just stick with us here. And as soon as the games do conclude, I imagine the admins will sort everything out and we'll figure out if any tiebreakers are necessary and just who is going to be pushing through to the groups, as no one is 100% secured right now.
Yeah, the only thing that's guaranteed is that Nip and Optic have been knocked out of the group. That's it. Everything else is still up for grabs and very much possible. But I would say that so far from the performances that we've seen, we've had a chance to cast all the teams today, and I think FaZe have definitely looked the strongest by quite some margin. I mean, their round difference right now, as it stands, is plus 29. The nearest is Astralis on plus 6. So these guys have been bossing the group so far.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, right, is just how close that last match actually ended up being. Everything considered, right, about how poorly Optic kind of showed up. Yet I think they're somewhere between like 10 and 11 rounds against FaZe, who had been crushing some of our more veteran teams here, like Nip, who only got 6 rounds against FaZe previously. So Optic showing a little bit of life towards the end of it, but again, clearly not proving to be enough to actually upset there and put a dent in a FaZe's record. But we are live now. Astralis onto the T side, and they are going to make a swift push out here to take control of Outer. But all of FaZe is here. They're ready to fight it back out. However, it's Glaive that gets the first kill this time around. Dupree pushing in for a second. Nico's there to respond now. Kerrigan a little bit late to the party, but he is going to be helping out from the Ivy tunnel. Unfortunately, that'll be delayed until this smoke fades away.
Do you have a kit and a smoke? Nico, Kerrigan, and Kiyashima up against 4 players strong on the Danish side. Retaking A is such a nightmare, though. There's so many angles you have to watch out for, especially when you're a player behind. And those Glocks up close and personal are going to wreak havoc upon the CTs. And there's one. Kerrigan goes down alongside Kiyashima. Nico's the last to fall. And Astralis have claimed first blood on Train.
And it is going to be a clean closeout there from Astralis to be able to take control of the pistol itself, pushing forward immediately into the lead here. But FaZe as aggressive they've been, we are going to see them buy into this next one as well. They go for the aggressive pickup. It's going to be Deagles, 5-7s, and a CZ in the case of Alu, with all armor sitting behind it. Not a whole lot of utility, though. Only Kerrigan is going to be picking up the flashbang. That's it. Now, beyond that, it's all gunpowder that they're going to be working with here.
All about the guns. Flashbang for Kerrigan. And Kiyashima has gone down, so B-take is pretty much already on the card. It's already came and gone. It's a question of, can FaZe take any players out with them? And so far, so good for the Danes. They are ripping through and claiming kills across the boards. Bomb plant will be very likely a 2-0. I'm not sure if you fixed it yet, Blue, but I think
yeah, I got it.
Double hit escape. Cool. Okay.
I spotted that at the end of the round.
Just good old GoTV bugs. I think they'll be fixed by now, but nope. Get wrecked.
Well, again, it is overall, though, a clean sweep here from Astralis, and FaZe won't really be doing a whole lot of contesting, even on exits, really, as they want to try to save these guns just for the next round so they have a little bit more firepower. A clean sweep from Astralis, again, and this is what's important, because, you know, clean rounds like this are going to help them out when they get into that first round and when FaZe can actually have an adequate amount of responses to this one. And that's what they're going to need to try and build at the bank, although Rain will get in the way of that a little bit as he does rolling with the Juan Deek to be able to take down Ziix towards the end of the round.
Yeah, I guess at least as far as FaZe are concerned, they take 2 Deagles and Kevlars out of the round, so it's not too shabby with Kevlar and CZ also in play now for Alu. Does give them a bit to play with. I mean, we've already seen this kind of a buyer win multiple times today, especially on Train. So I'm not putting it past FaZe to pull off the crazy. Liking Astralis though, they're fairly quick in these rounds thus far. Already 3 players on Ivy having quick peek. Carrigan could be the first player to get evaporated if he goes peeking around the corner. Or not.
All right.
He'll just wreck Dupree. That works too.
Kerrigan with the quick shot there. He does lose half of his HP in the process, but the kill he gets is certainly worth its weight, knocking out Dupree. Nico is caught trying to run around. There's all of a sudden Glaive is waltzing his way through the old bomb tunnel there. Manages to sneak his way in, but this is a beautiful boost up from Rain there too. Supported by his teammate further back. He's able to sneak right in there, finds the kill into Kirby, and now he's got an AK to work with too. That's some big arsenal. And in the meantime, again, we're also seeing Keo rotate back in. He's just upgraded himself to a UMP. Device, patience pays off for him as he finally nets a kill against one of these CTs that takes down Alu. But in hindsight, it still means very little. The bomb is on the ground and in full control of the CTs right now. And these last 2 Ts do not have a whole lot of control, any sort of flank working against them right here. Kerrigan sneaking back in, gets some great damage on some of the members of Astralis, bringing Device down to 19 HP. But it's now left to Keo in a 1v2, prioritizing the bomb. I think he did spot Ziix on top of the train there. So he's just going to molly it off, holding them back for a couple of extra seconds, buying him a little bit more time. And also time to make this maneuver too. As we can see, he's swinging around towards Z to line up an early flank against these guys.
Well, I say, I really like this play from Kirishima. He should get the element of surprise in at least one of these players, and he has put a Device who's still looking towards Ivy. Equalize it up. Kirishima is opting for the right side. Feels like he's going to get peaked, but Ziix, I mean, it's just a clutch king, isn't he? You're expecting him to win 99 out of 100 times from this kind of a situation, especially as Kirishima has no Kevlar, no kit, no nades, nothing really in which to play with. And now Ziix is on the E-box, gets the frag. Astralis will move to a 3-0. Way too close for comfort though against pistols.
Ziix still the 4D chess master so far in this tournament. I would love to see what his clutch record is overall for the event. I think the first match was the one where, like, we noticed it the most, right? It was the 9 clutches that Astralis won against Optic, where they won 0. And I think I saw Peter from HLTV tweet out that he had 5 clutches total that he potentially could have won, and I think he won all 5 of them in that first match. So he has been the master of just playing out these situations so smart in today's matches, just in the 2 that we saw. And I imagine he pulled off a lot more of that back over on the mainstream too.
Yeah, I think we were casting on Overpass as well, where he got 2 or 3. So he must be, well, he must be over 10 at this stage, because he pulled off a crazy one on the A stream, at least. And here we go into the next round. It's all guns blazing for both teams. And FaZe do have the player advantage, make that a 2-player advantage. Device comes back in with an AWP of his own, and Rain has to be oh so careful. As Device has spotted him up in heaven, manages to snake his way out of there, but that's into the embracing arms of Kirby, and it falls upon Device to pull off something truly special. 26 health, the bomb ahead of him. Not in a horrendous position, but certainly would rather have it in his hands so he can start to make a move towards the B side. It's hard to see how he gets this clutch though, Blue. It's going to be more of a mistake, I think, from FaZe than necessarily Device pulling off something spectacular.
Well, there's the mistake right there, is the swing out wide to try and hunt him down. He's able to escape back behind it now. Timer, keep that in mind. Device has all the time in the world to try and play this out, but conversely, there's not a whole lot of room to maneuver around this now, as Keo knows where he's positioned from, and he has a boatload of utility to try and use here as well. Still a Molotov, an HE, and a flashbang. He is expecting a flank at the same time, so Device Still just patiently waiting to see if Keo would pursue him back over there with the ladder. I'm not going to be the case, but Keo is looking away. It doesn't matter, though. Keo, he was ready for that, but Device just swings right in, shuts Keo down, and with a 4K, clutches out the round for Astralis.
It's so intelligent for Device to hide in Pop Dog, because as you called correctly at the time, there's that thing in the back of your head where you're thinking, has he flanked? Is he coming around connector? Is he maybe trying to push around T main? It makes it quite antsy, and as you said, he had utility but didn't use any of it. Instead, he went for a peek, and just at the worst possible second, Device called it and peeked out himself. Mind game's on point. Device is 8-1, and we're only into the 5th round. He has shown up, and he did struggle earlier on train. He was one of the players that didn't necessarily perform to his 100% potential. Maybe that's going to change here.
Yeah, with FaZe, again, just having to go for upgraded pistols and armor behind it. Keo not even having the armor in this time. It's not looking good at all for FaZe. Well, it's looking great for Astralis. I mean, 5 rounds in, we've had 2 clutch scenarios, and they've already won both of them. So they're already looking good to carry in that record, and it's not even just off of the hands from Ziix there. It's Device showing up as a big place himself on the out there in that last round. Was a little bit slow in it before, but seems though he's found his groove, at least based on what the performance there in the last round. However, obviously, the buy is not great for FaZe, but they were able to almost upset on the round before this when they had a similar buy. And it was off of these deagles that they netted themselves a lot of early kills, and they found that again. It's Device that goes down in the opening here. Kierby just sitting back inside of T-Con, waiting to see if FaZe are going to do anything, but at the moment, they're remaining steady in their current setup, with the exception of Kerrigan, who's going to go out wide and try to flank around towards T-Spawn.
Equalising it up as the Fierce Finn will meet his demise. Stands of the Danes, 35 seconds left in which to initiate onto the site. But Kerrigan round the back. How much can he get done from here? Is he going to bide his time away, or is he going to pull the trigger? He's going to pull the trigger, and that puts a bit of worry up the backs of Astralis. Kerrigan's picked up a second one. Rain's trying to tap his way with a deagle. Doesn't really hit anything, but time is of the essence. And Rain has called this rotation. Comes in with a deagle, misses his chance, but now it's a one-on-one. Ziix again in a clutch. And Kerrigan should have the positional advantage unless he makes a load of noise. The Ziix is going to the back of the site towards the CT spawn.
Ziix already got a beautiful read on the first kill here as he caught the player rotating through CT. Now he's just got to hunt down Kerrigan. At the moment, oh, he's going far into the site. Kerrigan, though, doesn't have a kit, so he's got a full 10-second defuse to worry about. And he is going to be able to hear that from his position way over there in the back. But it's just a tap. Kerrigan, no commitment onto it yet. And Ziix sneaking back in, but Kerrigan's ready for it this time, but he catches him just as he's jumping onto the bomb again. Oh my god, Ziix, you cannot stop this man. He's up 5-0 now, and already 2 clutches in this map.
I don't know what to say.
There's no beating him right now. It's insane.
It's just absolutely ridiculous how many clutches he gets on a consistent level. The fact he's always the last player alive as well, maybe gives you an insight into the teams. But Jesus, he does not miss out on these chances. Yeah, just let him stay alive the rest of the rounds. Let him bait as much as possible. He's not even a baiter though. That's the other thing. Like, he's a pretty aggressive player. You can see him there getting the first kill. He just always seems to find himself in these scenarios and always comes out ahead. 5-0 on the T side for Astralis, coasting.
Just keep him in the cage until he's the last one standing, then let him out, let him loose. Let him just destroy everything. It doesn't matter the opponent, doesn't matter the map. He seems to have no problems handling these situations time after time after time again. I have seen him clutch at least 10 times in just today alone, and I think he's only lost like 1 or 2 of them on this stream. It's absolutely insane. And he continues to show his stuff here as Astralis take a quick stride and a quick lead in this round. Already up in a 5v3 scenario here. Most of FaZe just propped up over on that B bomb site. Nico positioning just outside of Z. They do still have a double op setup to work with, but very slowly we are going to see Astralis start to crunch in towards Ivy here, and this is where Nico is going to be challenged.
As a result of the early confrontations, certainly the advantage falls upon Astralis. Rain has brought it back to 1 kill deficit. Nico in no man's land is about to get aggressed on. A bit of noise was made by Dupree, and he will get punished with an AWP round. There's the second one. Bomb drops out towards Nico. Could single-handedly win this round for his team now. Time is running scarce. Kill's not going to go the way of FaZe. 2-on-2. As Device comes in for another one. It's all down to Alu.
And he'll be sneaking back in, but I think Kirby's already watching out for it, so it's an easy closeout yet again on the round for Astralis. And now we're just going back and forth on the heroics here. It's Ziix one round, the device in the next, as he shows up with the 3K this time. And it is allowing them to have a 6-0 lead. It seems as though Device is doing most of the heavy lifting when you just look at the kills. It's actually crazy, you know, the impact that Ziix has been able to have with only 4 frags on the board. He looks like he's a baseline with the rest of his team, but he's contributed such to a large degree beyond that. Device, however, as we've seen, has been doing a fantastic job of racking up the multi-frags when it comes to the actual battles themselves, and he's kind of earned his spot right now at 11-2. That's an impressive scoreline as well. There's Ziix again, though, with the opening kill. Moving in, he finds Nico bright and early, taking him down, as FaZe once again just have another upgraded pistol round with armor behind it.
A very realistic potential for Astralis to take a 7-0 lead, which is definitely the best start they've had so far in this event. I mean, they've always been trailing. They came back twice at huge deficits in the first 2 games. They've lost against Immortals. This is the first time we've seen Astralis really take a lead and run with it. Rain with a double tap with his CZ. Takes out Glaive and Ziix. Brings it back to equality. And AK and Kevlar will be dangerous. But Astralis have more nades. They have more guns to play with. But the bomb under control of FaZe.
And now dupreeh trying to work his way in on the flank, but denied by Keo. Nicely picked up there. That's going to destroy dupreeh. Now Device and Kirby trying to work their way out towards T-Con. Specifically Kirby, first at the bat here, working his way through all off it. Trying to get himself as close to the site as possible, but waiting around the corner is going to be Alu. Nicely found by Kirby, though. Does pick up that kill against Alu. And it's Keo and Rain now trying to clutch this one back out. Both are in the site, and Rain specifically still defending the bomb, but that's not going to last for very long. Kirby rolling up here, bulldozing onto some of these frags, and he even gets the final one as well. Nicely played, Kirby.
Strangely, one of the best chances FaZe have had to actually get around on the board so far. Double kill with a CZ, bomb drops in Pop Dog. You're thinking, okay, here we go, FaZe. You've got yourself your first rounds. No, Astralis come back swinging. Double ups in play for FaZe. Alu and Karrigan actually have it. Karen, of course, go way back to the TSM question mark days. Used the AWP quite a bit then. He's no scrub when it comes to AWPing.
And for FaZe here too, still in a basic setup at this point. Rain will be getting ready if they do decide to drop back down inside, but more than likely this is just going to be a direct B play, which means Keo has got to step up to the plate right now, and for Alu as well. He'll be able to assist a little bit further back here with the op pressure that he'll be having over from the top side on top of the barrel. Ziix could prove to be his first victim, and that would be a very important victim if he can align the shot, but he jumps over it. What is this from Ziix right now? He's even going to swing back in, grabs the frag onto Keo before being traded out by Alu, and Alu's gonna waste no time pushing up here too. He thinks he has the angle. Karrigan moves in for a kill there, but it's Glaive that is able to knock out Alu. Karrigan again, though, chiming back in from the backside of the site. He takes down Glaive, puts this into a 2v3. Device up on the bomb train. Finally should have himself a situation where he can securely plant it, but now they really don't have a whole lot of ground to work with. Both have Molotovs, though, so if Device can escape over here towards upper, they have a lot of time they can waste by just tossing the molly up on top, as that smoke is only going to be a couple seconds away from fading. They use the molly a bit early here, though, to allow Device to further cross back over. And the CTs are going to be using some of their own utility to get back in. Nicely found by Device, though. Checks off Rain. He gets dinked himself, but the impact is worth it. Now, though, they've got to be careful as Nico sneaking around from the side. That's going to turn itself into a free kill. dupreeh hanging back. He's got the Molotov. There is not another smoke over here on the CT side right now, but I think it did actually end up going into it. No, apologies. It does go over the bomb. dupreeh holds off on his own. There's no time left. Karrigan has to fall away and save, and it's going to be an 8 for Astralis. Very well played in the post-plant.
Another one. Astralis just about sneak out with this time. dupreeh is the man in question. Tactical timeout has been called by FaZe. And you'd never think, if you just watched this game, hadn't watched any of the previous ones, that it was FaZe that was currently top of the group at 4-0. Because this has been incredibly one-sided against them. They've not really had a glimmer of hope in this map so far.
Yeah, they've slowed down immensely based on what we just saw in the dip game, where everybody was coming out and, you know, busting out all the stops. It was Alu that actually had a really good performance, especially at the beginning. He started off with that pistol ace. I think he was like 9-0 at one point back in the game versus NIP. Now this time he's down 2-7, and really no one else besides, you know, you could say like Karrigan and Rain have not really had a lot of remarkable plays. Keo having himself a couple nice kills, but it's nothing substantial. It hasn't been anything consistent. Meanwhile, on the Astralis side, you know, Device has been a constant worry for the FaZe guys to have to deal with. We've seen dupreeh and, you know, even Kirby, you look back like a round or two there too. He had himself a nice 3K, which basically saved the team, as they were in a bit of a tricky I think it was like a 2v4 or 2v3 situation on the bomb site on Outer there that they had to play towards. And of course, Ziix already clutching out 2 rounds for his team here, along with constantly finding the first contact kill. It's everything's fitting together much more solidly on the Astralis side right now.
And of course, remember, if this continues to be this way, as Astralis are going for the 2 opening picks, then we would be at a tie at the very top of the group at 4-1 between FaZe and Astralis. So we need to figure out who would be going through. Tiebreakers would come into question regardless of what happens in the other best of one that's being played right now, which is Mortals and Fnatic. Bomb has been planted, and FaZe trying to save what they can out of this round. The tactical timeout has not yielded anything. It will be 9-0.
Yielding a couple kills here towards the end of the round, as we do see Keo and Nico chiming in for a few. Keo now trying to hold off, though, as he has lost his teammate. It's on the other side of the map, so not like he would have been able to support him all that much to begin with, but Ziix just playing around, again, trying to waste time, and it does work out to a certain degree. Unfortunately, Keo still battles his way out of the box there, but taking down to Pre, but does he expect on the outside here a device? Misses the shot. That's going to leave Keo alive for a few more seconds, but finally he's cornered and taken down. That was a rough one, but they do manage to finally get the kill and disallow for any saves on the FaZe side.
Well, FaZe, they've tried a tactical timeout, they've tried mixing it up. They've gone back to another double up setup. It doesn't include Nico on the second up. Instead, it's Carrigan. And just nothing's worked for them on this CT side whatsoever. Nothing's stuck. They're going to have to have one hell of a T-half if they want to get any chance of bringing themselves back into this.
Interesting note, though, just to attest to how close FaZe has been consistently to getting that first round on the board. Astralis really don't have a lot of money. You know, for winning 9 rounds straight, you're expecting a team to be up at like 10K across the board at this point. But the highest amount that they have is sitting on Ziix at 5.5K. You know, the other 4 are basically broken if they end up losing even 1 round here. So FaZe, they've been very, very close, and if they can actually succeed, they can put them onto an eco pretty quickly, which, you know, allows them to build up a little bit of a foundation here, but they just haven't been able to do that. And Astralis has sort of been limping along by continuing to close out these rounds.
Sure. I mean, the other nightmare as well for FaZe is even if they do win a round, they've got to keep momentum going forward, or they reset their unloss bonus, and they're absolutely screwed. So it's both teams obviously struggling a little bit. Rain can't get a double. Dupree will trade him out. Glaive has just a Tech 9, but Astralis have the player advantage. Nico, who's been chilling in Pop Dog for quite some time now, going to be pop flashing and having a quick peek with his M4. And he does find Kirby, but is on the receiving end of a battering, and now Alu's taking damage as well. Kiyashima, last remaining CT with 30 seconds trying to stop this bomb plant. It won't happen. It's already going down right now. Astralis already going to be maneuvering to double digits, and not a single round in retaliation from FaZe.
Yeah, that's a second pause coming up at any point here. It might not be completely out of the question. As we can see, Keo is going to be left alive as the last man standing yet again, but Astralis, well, they're keen on hunting him down, despite the economical issue that they are up against. They can drop it. They can demoralize FaZe from trying to force into these rounds and make it a little bit easier for them. It works out perfectly. They're hunting him, but no one's decided to actually go all the way out to check CT. That's going to change right now, though, with Glaive. He's moving in to try and check all these corners and whatnot. He'll swing out to the right side, look for him here, and immediately finds the impact. No holds it all again for FaZe as everybody gets wiped off the board.
FaZe into another force by at this stage, full round loss bonus. They're desperate for rounds. The only score that really matters is at the top of the screen. Doesn't matter how much money they have anymore, really. They've got to get something done on this CT half. Best case scenario is 5. Very unlikely they'll pick up the remainder of this half, though. It's looking dire. Very bleak indeed. Rain in Pop Dog this time. Nico's typically been playing here thus far, but Nico instead is playing more of a central position on the site itself. Does pick up the first one, sees Kirby on the cross. Unable to land either of those shots. But they have got the opening pick, and this is one of the first times we've seen FaZe have an advantage like this, the entire map.
It's a big swing of players in towards the outer bomb site right now, so they got to be fast on this rotate. It's only Keo here to defend it, and he doesn't even realize that they pushed out towards that lower ramp, so he walks into his own death. Nico moves in, though. He is there for his second kill on the round to respond to this one. They're trying to move in fast for the retake. Carrying one other pick up. Astralis are sending them all their players right now. It's Dupree and Kirby that have to clutch, and it's not looking likely. They get the plant. They're going to guarantee themselves the extra money, but finally, FaZe will have a round as it goes 10-1 here.
Oh, better late than never to get on the scoreboard, but can they keep it going forwards? Economy's not fantastic for the likes of Dupree or Device, but they do have Ziix who can drop at least one weapon, potentially two, alongside Kirby. So they will have another buy into the next round. So their Device 3.9k, Dupree 3.4, the Ziix just shy of 10,000. So will be another buy coming through here for Astralis. And FaZe will get tested again. And if they were to lose this round, well, things are going to get even more sketchy for them.
Now, it will actually allow, though, like I mentioned before, that because of the low amount of cash on Astralis, FaZe can actually try to push towards the 10-5 half if they do manage to win this one and keep some consistency going. The reset, obviously, is like the darkest timeline, as that can very easily push Astralis up to the 14-1 scoreline, where FaZe basically have zero chance, and then they got to deal with a tiebreaker. But at the same time, FaZe have still been keeping these rounds close, even though they have yet to put a single round up on the board. They've done it now, and they've put themselves on the path to try to break Astralis really quickly. But they're actually going to try the same strat again, just not with the upper pressure. This time, it's all going down ramp. Keo, he's remaining very quiet here on the bomb train. He's going to try to keep himself in a mystery for as long as he can, and it works out. He lines himself up with 2 big kills back-to-back. Even pushing in here against the bomb planter. That succeeds. He's up to 3 now. They're going to be flanking behind him here in a moment, but it's going to be Glaive a bit distracted because more of these CTs are pushing back in. Glaive got the 1 kill, was traded out by Alu, and then Device chimes in for 1 more, but he's not the last man standing. He's not even sticking around, though. He's going to fall back to save.
Okay, 2 rounds in a row. FaZe have managed to crack the nut for the time being. There is enough funds for Device, especially with this save, to go for another buy with the rest of his team. It would put Kirby into a pistol, maybe a UMP instead. But they could get together a few AKs here as well. And now it's the turn of Astralis to call a tactical timeout. See what they can get done in their minds. They're going to be rummaging together some strats, I'm sure.
Logically speaking, looking at the amount of rounds left, it's probably wise, as we're seeing now. They can go for the buy here, and it's certainly going to be a decent buy. At most, one player would have to downgrade, but I don't even think that that's going to be needed, because I think they had enough cash flow to donate.
Yeah, Device dropped an AK rather than getting nades. I thought he would go for nades personally, but he actually did drop the AK, which gives, obviously, Kirby the assault rifle, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, so they're fine then, because if they still lose this one and they don't really save anything, then they can just hard eco into the next one. And then with the losing bonus that they're building up right now, they should still have enough for a semi-decent buy on the 15th round. And if they can plan, obviously that's going to be an extra bonus. They already planted the last 2 rounds. It's still coming down to the wire, just the table's flipped a little bit, and now it's FaZe that's kind of taking the initiative and being able to actually win things out, mainly due to interplay. As we saw, the real nice hold from Kia really saves the day there, and it was the fast rotates on the round before that saved them. The rotations are actually coming in really quickly. Like, the communication from FaZe is on point. That's probably one of their best assets right now, is when they are needed in the bomb sites, they call out the hit really quickly, and the rotation's there maybe like 5 seconds later at most.
Device, who has been consistently quiet today, 16 and 5. What a performance by him. Dupree's not too far behind on 11. He does have 5 assists on top of that. Molly going into box halls, trying to force out Kiyashima, who goes down. Ziix will claim the kill onto him. And that's a big one. That's going to funnel off a couple of the A defenders over towards the B side. Nico's now in connector. And Alu's gone into an aggressive position through on ramp with the AWP. Needs to be very careful he doesn't get charged down there with the weapon of the sniper rifle. That's a great opening pick for Astralis here in round number 13.
Dupree taking his time too, still just biding time really outside of Ivy, waiting to see what the rest of Astralis are going to choose to do, as they've got the bomb stacked up on top of the ramp room, but there's 2 more inside of T-Con, so I still think they're going forward with the outer execute, as they do start to send them, or prepare to send them down the ladder and into the bomb site. Fresh smoke was just popped off over here outside of the ladder room though, so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult, since the T's really don't have a good grasp of what's sitting over there on the bomb train. And in other angles, they really are not going to be able to aggress as heavily from this position. But now that smoke fades, and again, FaZe, great utility usage. Molotov's going to hold them back even further. Now they have to splinter the hit, because they don't have enough time to waste anymore. They knew it was coming here, and they're going to be able to rotate into this one very quickly. They may even have a flank as well. Rain and Kirby trade blows at the start, but look who's working his way in through T-Con. It's Kerrigan walking in for free. Device gets a big kill, though, and now Kerrigan's going to walk in. There's the first one for him. He hasn't checked over towards the ladder, though, so that's all he's going to get. And at the end of the day, it's left to Alu in a 1v3.
Sees the barrel of the AK sticking around the corner. He knows where Glaive is. That's at least one bit of information. Oh, that's so unfortunate. He lands the shot, but Glaive just down to 11. Finishes him off with the CZ. Can get the skill into Kirby. That would have opened up the round nicely. Instead, Astralis will take an 11th round. sees FaZe back into a bit of turmoil. They're going to be able to get together a buy, including a UMP and a CZ. Nico, has he been dropped across the weapon? Only on $2,000. Yeah, UMP for him as well. This is Astralis' chance to maybe even finish off the half at 13-2. That would be ridiculous, considering how close some of these rounds were earlier on in the half.
Yeah, if they can still bring this back to any degree, it's any rounds really that FaZe can sneak in here is going to be an asset for them going into the second half. As this was messy to say the least, but you know, a lot of these rounds were far closer than the scoreline makes it out to be. If you only joined us in the past 5 minutes or so, it's looking like Astralis are kind of stomped this one, but they have not been clean fought battles, to say the least. It's come down to a lot of clutch scenarios and very, very close shaves for the Astralis guys. It's going to be Kirby that opens things up this time, though. Back towards T-Con, they find the kill there. Molotov being deployed out by Kerrigan, however, is enough to eliminate Dupree when he tries to push up through Ivy. They net the trade. This goes down to a 4v4, and Astralis will still try to deploy, as far as I can see, towards Outer, but that may be changing based on the movement from Kirby here. No, he's going into T-Con, so they're still going to stick with the original plan and go towards Outer again.
Rain's on the parallel side of the smoke. It is going to start to dissipate shortly, and Rain could be found out in the backside. He's in a very precarious position in terms of playing aggro to pick up that UMP. He should be okay, and now he's going to make a move all the way around the back of Astralis. 35 seconds. He needs Kiyoshima to at least hold down the fort for a little while so he can do some work. And here he goes. Kyo goes to town with 3. The spray's on point, and FaZe have picked up a 3rd round. And if it wasn't Kyo, it likely would have been Rain coming around the back, but what a performance nonetheless.
Kyo pulling out the big stops from on top of the train. He already had a round like this. You go back like 5 or 6 rounds when these guys were picking up a few. And FaZe had another big occurrence, or Kyo specifically had another big occurrence where he was able to hold himself on the bomb train, wait very, very patiently for all of Astralis to push back in. Nobody checked that sandwich in the bomb train, and he was able to destroy at least 2 of them from that spot. And I think it was like a couple seconds later, he ends up getting a 3rd kill too. Big stuff from Kyo. He's shown up with the clutch plays, and is really one of the few key reasons why FaZe is back in this. Him and Rain have been the big players so far. We've been seeing a little bit from Kerrigan as well, but certainly Kyo and Rain with the more notable ones. It's fast outside though from Astralis now as they're on the Tech 9 buy for the final round. Molotov already claiming 1 victim here. One of the CTs trying to move up, Rain specifically trying to get back a lot of this ground and basically stop Astralis from escaping, and they're just edging out here any possibility. And there we go. It's going to be clean from Rain, clean from Nico, and it's FaZe that do bring it back to 11-4 after going all the way down. I think it was 10-0 before we finally saw them getting a point onto the board.
Yeah, absolutely right. It was 10-0. So in the last 5 rounds, FaZe won 4 of them. And now if they get the second pistol, game's back on again. If Astralis take it, well, FaZe are in a spot of bother, to say the least. But 4 rounds, they'll be relatively happy with. I mean, it's hard to be happy with 4 rounds on the CT side, but it could have been so much worse. It could have been so much better as well. I mean, I'm looking through the amount of players that survived in certain rounds, and there were, let me have a quick look at this. There were 7 rounds in a row where FaZe took Astralis down to 1 or 2 players in a round, and a lot of them were just 1 player left with an explosion on the bomb. So, I mean, on another day, this could easily be like an 8-7 scoreline.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, like I was saying there, basically, this game is far closer than it appears from the scoreline, and I mean, it's certainly a possibility for FaZe to round the comeback here. It all depends on how this pistol goes in the follow-up round, too. We have seen the force-up get quite chaotic already on the first half. From FaZe, though, it's fast outside, moving through those white halls to try to get out. They have lost the bomb, and it's a shutdown at the moment from Astralis. 2 kills with no response at all. Not even a whole lot of damage being done, to be completely honest here. Kerrigan chiming in there finally, but that seems to be it. 2 more responses, and it's another pistol for Astralis.
Yeah, there is the issue that we were talking about. FaZe desperately required that second pistol. Of course, if they were to win this round, then Astralis are into a force more than likely, and things start to get sketchy for Astralis, but they're typically very good for these kind of rounds. There's going to be 3 UMPs from us, M4, very solid purchase. But on the other side of things, FaZe have decided to go for no nades and raw firepower. Couple Deeks, couple Tech 9s, and they are ready to bounce into this. Kirby shoulder peaks and doesn't get tagged. Close to being headshot, though.
So now for FaZe, again, looking for an avenue with which they can actually get themselves to the outer bomb site. Still lined up for that default play into A currently. But for Astralis, they're sitting here. They're ready for this one. As they've got 3 players around the bomb train, another one sitting back. It's Kirby watching for Ivy pressure too. There's no clean path into the site right now. FaZe will have to take a moment to step back and reconsider possibly another plan or another avenue to try to push in, because right now it's not looking likely that they're going to be able to pierce the veil when it comes to the A site.
Our first kill has gone the way of Astralis. 50 seconds left. FaZe still on the hunt with these Deagles. Narrow miss comes through there on the very low glaive. That's just been finished off courtesy of Kiyoshima's Tech Mine. Karrigan has finally landed himself the 1D. 3 on 3. Although 3 players in this confrontation are low. Device being the lowest on 8, but Alu and Rain aren't too much better off. 30 seconds now. The bomb is about to get planted. Still FaZe have been unable to get their hands on a weapon and upgrade one of their pistols, but it may not be required because Karrigan's Deagle is still going to work. Dupree with his spray, bringing us back to equality once more, but now Karrigan and Rain are both absolutely wrecked. They're so close to being evaporated off the server. Ziix is going to do just that and apply the heat to Rain, leaving Karrigan's Deagle that started this round off with kills. He have came full circle. He does have the positional advantage, but what can he realistically get done with the Deagle? Oh, the one-tap has landed! And now Dupree isn't entirely sure as to whether he's going to be pushing around the green train or repeating it again. But he doesn't have time. It is going to be FaZe taking the round just about.
Dupree with the 4K, but it doesn't matter. Beautifully played up by the last one alive from FaZe there. They buy themselves a little bit more time to survive here, and we can see from Astralis probably going to be forcing into this after that. Like I said, this was one of FaZe's last chances, was to win the force up, but now we go into the chaotic battle that's going to be this trade spree. More than likely that we could end up in if Astralis ends up upsetting here, and then FaZe will have to force into that, and then it becomes a war of attrition, economically speaking, as to which team wants to basically call for a save first in that instance. It's Keo, though, instantly finding the first kill here as he pushes up, catches a very aggressive glaive, shuts him down, and already they've got themselves a 5v4 advantage. Possibly another one here, too. Kirby keeps poking out into the open.
Ziix is going to fire Nico with the 5-7. Dupree going to Pop Dog, seeing if he can get himself a cheeky kill before escaping. Rain could be the assailant if Dupree's not careful. Nade does connect onto Kiyoshima, but it's still all even in terms of players. Time to play with, time to burn for FaZe. Astralis, with only 2 flashes, have their work cut out for them if they want to try and clutch onto this round. FaZe still have a smoke if they fancy like some kind of a B hit. Kirby's laid in wait with an Eagle. And of course, his crazy shenanigans with all the way a year ago at DreamHack Leipzig happened from a very similar position with the Deagle. So we know he's got it in his locker, and there's the first one. Can't quite get the kill on Karrigan as he crosses to the site, but he's still in a forward position before he gets found out from Karrigan. And now Device and Ziix trying to force their way back onto the site.
Ziix still really looking for a clean shot here, too. He's been up on the site for some time. But, I mean, he's the one who's, like, in the front of the action. This is the incredible part. He's the one who's in the front of the action, but somehow he still ends up as the last man standing in this 1v3. He's not going to sneak back in. There's Rain. There's the first one. Going for the second one. We won't see chaos this time. Rain free, as Karrigan does shut down Ziix before he can go any further with that clutch.
3 kills is solid. Unfortunately, FaZe are going to be able to replenish those weapons, and Astralis are into an eco, so they can't really capitalize on the weakened economy. So Alu and Karrigan reading the situation, deciding to go for the MAC-10, an expensive, expendable weapon that will yield a lot of reward if they can spray those 30 bullets towards an Astralis member. And Astralis have full USBs. Absolutely nothing into this round.
FaZe are moving into the box house here for pretty quick control. There may be a response from Ziix, but again, with just these guns, it's not going to be that great of a response. Karrigan, he's already picked up the first kill, and he may be pushing it again just to get a little bit more of it. B site's been cleared out very easily. Karrigan, I think, actually is going to end up falling back here just because he's a little bit low. Obviously, still trying to stack up the cash. They've got a long road to recovery here, so it's not going to have the luxury of losing these players, and handles that actually very nicely. Ends up with a 3K at the end of it, and he's just going to toss it away, as I believe he'll be upgrading to the AK now. Or the AWP, actually, excuse me.
Yeah, really intelligent to throw the smoke there, because his 30 bullets and the fire speed that he possesses as opposed to the USP gives him the advantage, even though he was low on HP. Really intelligent play. We'll obviously be trading out the UMP, so the MAC-10, pardon me, for the AK-47 in this round. But Astralis will be upgrading themselves, and there's Device. who continues his performance of that first half. He hasn't added that many kills to his tally on the CT half, but that is a hugely impactful kill onto his opposite number of Alu. So the primary AWP for FaZe is down. But this is the great thing about FaZe. They have Nico that can AWP, they've got Karrigan that can also use the AWP. So it just goes right into the hands of the newest recruit to FaZe.
FaZe do end up falling back, though, after losing Alu. Nico's just going to pick up the AWP to work with here. And they will push most of their players through white, leading up over here to the box halls. Everybody else grouping up here. The only exception is going to be Karrigan. So if they dive into ladder, obviously it's going to prove itself to be quite a big choke point, as Astralis have most of their defenses centered around the bomb train. That's going to be their direct lead up as they go outside. But if they do go inner, then it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Karrigan here, as he's going to push in a bit late, I imagine, to try and cut off rotators. Still in that inner bomb site. You only have Ziix to defend it. His attention is also not even on the ramp. It's over here towards upper right now, so as he does see the flashbangs roll, he has to change his own position. He is in the open, but finds that first kill. Adjusting towards upper again here. We do see Karrigan trading things out as he tries to push back in and squelch the rotation before it can actually occur. Device will put a stop to that before it goes any further, and now it's Keo left alive in a 1v4.
Does have the bomb for not for too much longer. Astralis had already got the sense, already sensed the blood in the water, and did pounce. Another buy for FaZe, but this is going to be depleting what's left of their funds. Astralis on the brink of securing this map and taking themselves and FaZe to a 4-1 scoreline. Elsewhere on the other stream, it is currently 13-9 to Fnatic. So again, if Fnatic win that, it would put Immortals on Fnatic also at 3-2. So it's possible that we could have two separate tiebreakers. But only time will tell. Still some CS to be played. Glaive goes in for the trade, and it goes the way of Astralis. Dupree cleans up onto Keo.
Puts a halt on all of FaZe's aggression for the most part here. Actually, correction on that one. They do go right back out from T-Con. It's a big surprise. Pre wasn't ready for that one at all. He's knocked back out. Alu, I think, is seeing the shadow of Caribby here as the flash goes back out. He's going to peek into it, but oh my god, he's early on the shot. So it allows Caribby to swing, pick up the kill, and for Karrigan, he's kind of just going to awkwardly walk past the site now, as there's not a whole lot that he can do, unfortunately.
Now Karrigan is in one of the most difficult positions you could really find yourself. 1v3 with the bomb on the wrong side of the trains and in connector. 14-7. FaZe have the task of either force buying in this round and having finalized Eagles and Tech9s with Kevlar, or saving up and playing for the overtime. A lot of teams here would just force buy, but we'll have to wait and see what FaZe have in store. Seems like they're going to be playing for the overtime instead. That's fair enough. Couple of Eagles. Yeah, now is the very capable Nico and Rain.
Everybody from FaZe is just going to be shuffling again over here towards the back of B to try and make a push in towards here, but with this minimal buy, it's not going to be looking good. And now that essentially means that FaZe are going to have to win 8 straight, unless they can somehow upset here, to be able to take this into OT and push it forward. Yeah, FaZe still want their 100% guarantee that they would take first in the group. Otherwise, they're going to have to settle this through the tiebreaker rules. Well, Kirby will impact first here, though, finding Nico, and FaZe don't end up going in towards the inner site. Most of them have just dropped down into a big stack here below ladder. And we'll end up probably pushing in here in a moment, as they also have Rain getting ready to execute from T-Con.
Glaive is going to go in for 2. Kirby as well, and he just finishes off. Not too much going through in that round for FaZe. As we mentioned earlier, just pretty much a couple of Eagles, and that's about it. So 8 map points for Astralis to hold on to. FaZe have a huge mountain of a task ahead of them. It would be a Herculean throw if Astralis lost from this point.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Definitely favourites to take it from this point and go 4-1. So FaZe not, well, very likely. I'm almost speaking like it's already done. It's not, of course, done. We've seen comebacks like this before. Unlikely to happen. But they will not get the return result that they saw in Oakland with a 5-0 group stage.
Well, already 1-for-1 trades here, as there's a big battle for control of the backside. Specifically the CTs that get aggressive up here. Dupree finding 1 kill, but then being traded out by Kiyoshima. And now Ziix retreating from back down below. Still expecting for Keo to reapply that pressure over here towards inner, but no, it's actually working its way outside, and it's actually Device, who almost got that second kill after already picking up one of the Karrigan. He moved a little bit, so the shot missed against Alu, and by the count of his own lucky stars, he gets to stay alive because of that. 3v3, though, to control the destiny of this match. Let's take a look and see who's going to win it.
So many nades for Astralis to play with, and they have the HP advantage as well. Coming through 3 separate angles. Ziix through connector, other 2 players, the back of Ivy side. Device still has a smoke. Going to be using that on the site will Ziix. Ali's still at the top of the trains. Device is in hot pursuit though with his AWP. But Ali has landed the headshot. And with Rain in Heaven, this is now no longer a situation where Astralis will feel comfortable. The bomb is so close to detonation that they're just going to get the hell out of there. So FaZe, they have saved 1 more round. But they are taking quite a lot of casualties outside of it. How does Alu not get that kill? He's going to die to the bomb.
Rain almost does as well.
Surely he should be picking up that frag onto, I think it was Device. But no, apparently not.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, FaZe get to keep it together for right now. They have not completely destroyed the CT economy just yet, though. They have enough cash flow to buy in here again. And they're going to keep the train rolling before they are forced into an eco here. No pun intended. FaZe are just spreading out again into another default as well. So this has become kind of their opening pattern, although it's very aggressive. I mean, look at Alu. He's already pushed himself here towards Olaf position. I do think Kerrigan did take a lick of damage from Device, though. He got hit through the wall or something like that from the op shot, as he's now down at 26 HP. And he's going to get aggressive about it, too. I think he just wants to check this corner by the server, though, to guarantee that no one did actually push up to try and challenge him later on in the round. Meanwhile, in the site itself, 2 kills from FaZe. Ziix able to respond to 1. The bomb goes down, and it's down in the middle of the bomb site. But Astralis don't have the means to try and push back in for this just yet. With Ziix's kill, they might get it, though. Keo is going to be regrouping. They do add another asset to their push into A off of this. But Astralis are already thinking about the retake, so they kind of just give up site control entirely and back up to prepare to push back in a few moments here.
Kerrigan, who did get shot while in midair from Device earlier on Ivy, still alive, and made a move all the way around the back of T-Spawn, and now pretty close to the B site, which is where Ziix is laid in wait, and will pounce upon his prey of Keo. Still fairly awkward a position between these last 2. Alu chilling out on the A site, is trying to bide a bit of time for Kerrigan to get himself close. Device to his left-hand side with the AWP, surely. Alu's going to get this kill after the shot comes through, but no, Device with his trusty sidearm puts him out, and Astralis will claim a 4th win in the groups. And we're now all tied up at the top of the score, and that's going to be FaZe and Astralis 4-1 both, which makes that second game that's being played right now between Immortals and Fnatic that more interesting.
Yeah, so again, as a reminder, again, if I have this correctly, with Astralis winning, we have a guaranteed tie now between FaZe and Astralis for first place. That'll be figured out in a moment, I imagine, after this other game. And if Immortals wins this other game, they should also tie with those 2 teams. So we'll have a 3-way tie for first place. Those should be our 3 teams that are going to be moving forward into the playoffs, of course, but we still need to figure out who's actually going to get first, second, and third about that one. If Fnatic wins, then we'll have 2 separate ties. So let's take a look and see what that game is looking like.
It's 13-12 at the moment, with Fnatic onto a half bye on the T side of Mirage. So it's very possible Immortals draw it back to 13 each, and then they'd be on the CT side of Mirage with a bye coming through from Fnatic. So it's incredibly close.
All right, guys, so you can go ahead and check that out over on the main stream. Just go ahead up to your URL bar, delete the B, and hit enter, and you'll be over on the main game. We're going to turn up the tunes until we figure out exactly how the tiebreakers are going to roll, as there may be some gameplay involved with the tiebreakers. We'll give you more details on that when the need arises, so be sure to stick around when we figure everything out, folks, and we'll be bringing it back to you if necessary. Maybe done over on the main stream as well, just as a side note. So we'll be back in a few as soon as we have an update for you.
Do you want to feel like a